I'm Laura from LauraGYOGA, and this video is going to be all about how to do some of the most common forward bends really safely. We want to protect your lower back and get good alignment so that we can maximize the opening in our hamstrings, really open up the back lines of the legs. The way that we're going to do this, especially if you have tight hips like I do, is you're going to use your yoga blocks and a strap, or I just grabbed a belt for today. And really important is to have something to sit on. A couple folded blankets, a bolster if you have it, or a yoga wedge works really well for this too. So the first one, let's talk about Baddha Konasana. This is a common pose that we do in class. And I'm going to do it with no props to start out with. And you can kind of see, since my hips are tight, my inner hips, my knees are real high up off the floor, which is okay. I'm kind of comfortable with that. And I start out holding on to the front of the shins or the front of the ankles so that I can draw together and really lift my back. That's the most important part. I'm getting long through my belly and my lower back is moving forward so that there's a tilt. My pelvis kind of tips to the front. So I'm really high up on my sitting bones. Now when the teacher tells you to go into forward bend, this is what a lot of people do. There's a lot of rounding through the spine, and you're closing off all this space here that we're supposed to breathe into. So it makes it hard for you to get that full relaxation when you can't breathe fully. What I would much rather that you do, and is much safer and your back will be happier if you do it this way, is bring a prop right underneath your hips. And you can see the way that I position it, it's right on the edge of the hips. So my sitting bones are kind of at the very front edge of it. And as soon as I lean forward, I feel that natural tilt in my pelvis. So that way, my lower back is lifted and the rest of my spine can get much longer. And then I hold on to the fronts of the legs, create even more length and opening through the chest. And that way I might have some room to go down without rounding. And I can hold onto the feet instead. And here is really comfortable for me to breathe and let my knees start to settle up to the sides. Now if your knees bother you here, good thing to do with the block is just give them a little bit of support. Don't go into that maximum stretch, just give a little support underneath like that. And then just sit up straight and work like that. As long as you're pushing your pelvis forward and keeping your back long, you're going to start to get that stretch in your inner thighs. We want to make sure it's a safe one. If you feel like you're really struggling, that you're always kind of going into that curled posture, just bring your hands behind your back before you even go into the posture and give yourself a lift. Push into the hands, lift the chest, lift the crown of the head up to the ceiling. And keep that length when you start to go anywhere in the pose. And for you, it might just be sitting up like this is giving a good stretch. Don't feel like you always have to move forward in Baddha Konasana. Okay, the other option that's nice is using a strap. You can put the strap underneath the feet, hold on with the hands, and then give a little bend with the elbows. What you want to think about is not so much dropping the heart down toward the feet, but moving the heart out toward the horizon line, and that's going to give you more length. Or sometimes it helps to think about pushing your belly button towards your big toes. And even though the belly button is moving in that direction, keep your abs pulled back. We don't want to pooch the belly out. So that gives me a really nice opening in my hips, and I'm maintaining that really nice line with my spine. So this is a safe version of Baddha Konasana for me. Okay, the next version, if your hips are a little bit more flexible and you want to go deeper, take a block either this way or maybe widthways like that, and that's going to give you a little bit more opening. And it can help with the awareness of your feet, thinking about pressing your feet into the block and keeping that pada bandha, that lock with your feet. The same thing goes with the spine, keep it long. Okay, so that was Baddha Konasana. Let's talk about head to knee pose, Janu Shirshasana. Same thing with the blanket. Actually, I'll show you first the way you're not supposed to do it. This is what we see a lot of in class. We send the leg out, we draw the opposite foot in, and we start up really nice and tall. A lot of times we'll take the arms up to emphasize that length through the spine. And then as soon as we start to go into forward bend, we get this. And it is called head to knee pose. So I think a lot of people get goal oriented, that they want their head to touch their knee, and I can get kind of close, but see what's happening with my back. It's really, really rounded, and my lower back is not happy about this. So what I'm going to do to make this pose a lot safer and a lot more effective for me is lift my hips up a few inches on this folded blanket. I'm going to bring the blocks on either side of my leg. Okay. Now if you need, where'd my other block go? If you need some support for this knee, if that knee is bothering you, you can put a block under it. I'm going to do that same thing. Inhale, lengthen up. Take your exhale, settle your hands onto the block, and give a little pressure down. Let that lift your chest. I'm really going for a hinge kind of movement. My back is staying really straight. My leg is reaching out long. My toes are straight up toward the ceiling, and I'm just folding from the hip joints to come forward. The belly and the front of the body stays long so that my breath stays deep. When you're able to breathe deeply in this pose, the hamstring is going to soften a lot more. It's going to give you that good relaxation response so that you can let go. Good, and we'll come back up. If you prefer to use a strap, this is a good one to use a strap. You can loop right around the ball of the foot. And just make sure you do a slight shift with your shoulders so you're facing directly towards your foot. Okay, let your shoulders be soft. Don't start to tense it up the upper body just because you're holding on to something. We bend the elbows a little at a time, and now I'm drawing my heart toward my big toe. That's the line of lengthening I'm going for. Don't worry about how far you come down. Just think about keeping that good alignment with your back. And eventually, if the pelvis is going forward with you, you will get a good hamstring opening. Doesn't matter if you're up all the way here and you still feel it. That's a good place for you to be in the pose then. Okay, now we're going to apply both of those principles to our regular forward fold. I really like the strap for this one. This is one of my favorite poses to use the strap. And just to prep yourself, roll some of the flesh away from your sitting bones. Give yourself a little wrap with the legs so that you're rolled into the internal spiral. Take the strap around the ball of the foot. And again, shoulders are loose. Little bend with the elbows. My heart is moving toward the big toes. And then I align my neck so that it creates a natural extension from the rest of my spine. And of course, as we hold here and we breathe, every exhale is going to give you a little more softening, going a little deeper into the pose. So don't feel like once you get into the pose, you have to find that full expression. It's something that we work into. If you like the blocks, we can do the same thing that we did in Janu Shirshasana and push into the palms of the hands. If you have a tendency to drop your shoulders and collapse your chest, the blocks are really good to help you keep lifted that way. And we'll come back up into sitting. Good, so that was just a quick review of how to keep 3 of the really common forward bends safe for your back. That's one of the biggest problems that I see in class that I'm always telling my students to watch out for, is that collapse through the chest and just sinking into your lower back and rounding there. We want to keep the lower back long and let it move forward with us when we go into our forward bend. It gives a more focused opening to your hamstring, and it prevents you from hurting your back, specifically if you have a herniated disc, or we want to make sure that you don't have more of a chance of developing a herniated disc because you've weakened your lower back from always rounding like that. So it's really important alignment techniques to use really in any of your forward bends. So I hope you enjoy the video. Namaste.